She loved Christmas. I truly loved him. The streetlights, the smell of food, the clinking of cutlery, the idea of everyone being together in the same house. While others complained about traffic and shopping, she gave of herself. It started weeks earlier. She bought gifts thinking about everyone's tastes. She planned the Christmas dinner as if each dish were a silent declaration of love. She mentally rehearsed how to please each member of the family. She believed in something simple and devastating. If I do everything perfectly, I will finally be enough. Nobody told her one thing. Christmas is the favorite day for those who silently control lives. While she was setting the table, they were preparing to set the stage for the blame. While she was trying to please, they adjusted the invisible strings. And the cruelest part? She didn't realize when she stopped choosing. She only realized it when she no longer knew what she wanted. This is the story of a woman who loved Christmas until she discovered that her every gesture was being used to control every choice in her life. If this is hurting you right now, perhaps it's not a coincidence. At first, nobody seemed like a villain. Neither could she. Neither can they. The family said it was out of concern. Just be careful. It's just an opinion. It's because we love you. And she believed him. From a young age, she learned that love came like this, with requirement, with adjustments, with small, silent concessions. Nothing violent, nothing explicit, just glances, subtle comments, comparisons disguised as advice. Are you going to wear that at Christmas? Are you sure that's how you're going to talk to them? You've always been too sensitive. None of this seemed like abuse. It seemed they were getting along well. She was praised when she obeyed. She was criticized when she disagreed. Ignored when she set boundaries. Approved while she was being shaped. Without realizing it, he began to edit his own personality even before opening his mouth. At Christmas, this became more pronounced. It was the grand stage, the day when everyone met, the day when everything needed to be perfect, because any mistake was seen as proof of ingratitude. Any discomfort turned into a drama. Any limit became selfishness. Then she started anticipating everything. I was thinking for everyone. I felt for everyone. Swallowed by everyone. Each time she did that, she received a smile. That's better. Now that's more like it. Her brain learned quickly. Pleasing equals security. Disagreeing equals rejection. No one needed to shout. No one needed to knock. Control became routine. She still thought she had a choice, but she was already being guided. And the worst part? She called it love. Over time, he began to feel something strange. It wasn't explicit fear. It was internal surveillance. She thought before she felt. She apologized before making a mistake. She justified her choice before making it. Control no longer came from the outside. It came from within. At Christmas, this reached its apex. She would wake up tired before the day even began. It was as if she had emotionally marathon-watched it all night. She knew she needed to appear happy, appear pleasant, appear at peace, as if on an invisible stage. Any wrong expression would be interpreted as a character flaw. The phrases were repeated every year. Why are you quiet? Aren't you happy? After all we've done for you. These phrases didn't hurt on their own. They hurt because they came burdened with emotional debt. She began to wonder, am I ungrateful? Could the problem be me? Am I exaggerating? This is the critical point, when the victim begins to defend the aggressor in their own mind. She stopped complaining, then she stopped asking, then she stopped wanting to. Every limit she tried to impose turned into guilt. Every personal desire turned into selfishness. Every attempt to be herself turned into conflict. And little by little she shrank. She still loved Christmas, the lights, the food, the rituals, but it began to associate all of this with tension, to the tightness in the chest, to the feeling of being wrong for existing in that way. Her brain learned another dangerous pattern. Peace equals obedience. Conflict equals abandonment. When this happens, the mind goes into survival mode. It no longer matters what she feels. It imports not to lose the connection. She didn't realize when she stopped choosing, because no one forcibly took away the choices. They simply taught through years of repetition which choice was acceptable. What was happening to her was not weakness, it was psychological conditioning. Studies on coercive control show that the most effective abuse doesn't use physical force, it uses repetition, ambiguity, guilt. Psychologist Lenore Walker, who has studied abusive relationships for decades, described a clear pattern. First comes the silent tension, after the emotional explosion, and finally the repair, apologies, affection, promises. This cycle doesn't break a person all at once. It reprograms. The brain learns that love comes mixed with fear. Affection is never stable. Security depends on pleasing. A University of Michigan study showed that continuous exposure to subtle criticism and emotional invalidation reduces decision-making ability. People start outsourcing choices because deciding hurts. At Christmas, this intensifies. Symbolic dates trigger deep emotional memories. When the environment demands mandatory happiness, internal conflict is growing. She felt sad, but she was taught to call it ingratitude. I felt tired. They said it was a drama. I felt like leaving. They said he was destroying the family. This is collective emotional gaslighting. The mind silently collapses. The nervous system is in a constant state of alert. Cortisol alto, chronic anxiety, the feeling of being imprisoned without bars. Research from Johns Hopkins University indicates that victims of intense psychological control exhibit symptoms similar to those of prisoners in psychological warfare environments: mental confusion, guilt for surviving, constant fear of displeasing others. She wasn't exaggerating. Her body was reacting exactly as it does in captivity. The cruelest part? The more she tried to do everything right at Christmas, the more control they tightened, the more they tightened their grip, because the system worked, and systems that work don't fix themselves. That particular Christmas, she decided she was going to outdo herself. She woke up early, she tidied the house, she prepared the food that everyone liked, she decorated the table with details that no one would see, but she did it as a declaration of love. She smiled before she felt the urge. She mentally rehearsed how to respond to each predictable comment. She believed, if I'm perfect enough, the tension will disappear. But it didn't disappear. The body warned first. Tightness in the chest, cold hands, shortness of breath, before anyone even said anything. The first comment came as a joke, then as a joking critique, then like silence, heavy silence, punitive silence. She apologized without knowing why. She laughed when she was humiliated. She swallowed her tears so as not to spoil the mood. And then something simple but irreversible happened. She realized she wasn't experiencing Christmas. She was acting in it. Every gesture was calculated, every word measured, every emotion repressed. She wasn't there for love. She was there out of fear. Fear of disappointing. Fear of being seen as ungrateful. Fear of emotional punishment afterwards. At that moment, a thought entered her mind, cold and clear. If I continue like this here, I'll disappear. She understood in a second something that took years to build. The controller didn't need to raise his voice. He had already taken it. Her time, her body, her choices, her identity. Christmas, which once represented unity, now was the ultimate symbol of the prison. That's where she saw the whole pattern: conditional affection, constant guilt, obligation disguised as love. And for the first time, she didn't wonder what others would feel if she changed. She wondered if she would survive, continuing to be who they expected her to be. That was the point of no return. When you see the control, we can't pretend it's love anymore. That night, the house was full. Loud laughter, glasses clinking, perfect photos. Inside, it was empty. None of the decisions that day had been hers. The clothes she wore, the time she arrived, the forced smile, the silence that swallowed, everything was decided beforehand, based on expectations, because of, out of, fear of disappointing. Seated at the table, she reached a devastating conclusion. I'm not sad. I'm in control. Christmas didn't break her. Christmas only revealed how much her life had already been controlled a long time ago. Special dates don't create pain. They take off their masks. What was already wrong? This wasn't drama. It wasn't ingratitude. It wasn't too sensitive. It was dark psychology applied to everyday life. 1. Control through guilt. After everything we've done for you, you're going to make your mother cry at Christmas. Emotional debt becomes a chain reaction. You obey not because you agree, but so not to feel like a horrible person. 2. Collective emotional gaslighting. You're exaggerating. It's all in your head. You ruin the mood with these things. When several people invalidate your discomfort, you begin to doubt your own perception. 3. Silencing by tradition. Don't ruin Christmas. Today is a day to be happy, period. Abuse hides behind customs. Questioning becomes a sin. Suffering becomes a sign of bad manners. The brain enters survival mode. To please, shut up, yield. Over time, you no longer know what you want. He only knows what is allowed. This is not familial love. It's not unity. It's normalized psychological control. 3 things need to be very clear. 1. Recurring discomfort is a sign, not a sign of weakness. If every special date leaves you exhausted, the problem isn't the date, it's the dynamic. Body on alert every year on the same day. It's not being picky, it's alarming. 2. Those who love you don't need to belittle you to maintain peace. Peace that demands your silence is not peace, it's emotional submission. If you need to suppress your inhibitions so as not to spoil the mood, the climate is already ruined. They're just not talking about it. 3. You have the right to leave, even without a perfect explanation. You don't owe me your presence as payment for an eternal debt. You are not the family's remedy. You don't need to justify being exhausted. I can't handle this year. That's reason enough. No need to be present. That's the first step to recover one's own mind. First of all, if this video accurately described how you're feeling today, don't blame yourself. You are not broken. You are waking up. Waking up hurts because it removes the filter, but it's also the only way to escape the role of a puppet. You are not ungrateful because I didn't want to spend Christmas a place that ails you. You are not selfish by choosing a quieter Christmas instead of a spectacle where you die inside. You're not being dramatic because they realized that concern has become a tool of control. Subscribe to the channel to understand these mechanisms that no one explained to you, but who control millions of people in silence. Share this video with someone who loves Christmas, but the night always ends quietly, locked in the room or crying in the shower. And it stays here. This is not a space about happy dates. It's a space about mental freedom. Sometimes the greatest Christmas gift is not a full tree, not even a perfect table. It's simply about seeing, with all the pain that this brings, who is trying to control your life. And, for the first time, start taking back the decisions that are yours, a limit at a time, a no at a time, a different Christmas every time.